Welcome to Quarantine with Nicole and Robyn.
Hey guys.
Hey guys, now more than ever, we are turning to technology, particularly Zoom, and because it brings us together. And that's one of our basic needs, is that need for connection. So this week, we want to focus on creating a greater sense of connection with our loved ones and our friends. Right, Robyn?
That's right. And you know what? I'm all zoomed out on Nicole. So we had to bring in a Livermore local. We're here with Jeremy Toupe-Masi of Nottingham Cellars, and he is going to walk us through how to wine taste, give us some ideas on pairing, and just how to elevate your Zoom experience. Maybe even how to taste with a mask on.
Cheers, lady.
Oh, cheers. I got to work on mine.
Oh, yeah.
That handle.
Hey guys, we're sitting here with Jeremy, as you know. So Jeremy, give us a little of your background at Nottingham Cellars.
All right. Well, hello, ladies. Good to be with you again. We did this five months or so ago during harvest. Time flies, but happy to be back. You guys are always fun to work with. So I am of Nottingham Cellars. You know, my role has probably changed completely in this COVID era since when we first kind of did this thing a while back. So originally, and I'm sales manager is what it says on my business card. But right now it's a little bit of everything. So that's all hands on deck for what's going on right now.
We can imagine. We can imagine that.
Yeah, that is just the way it's going. But it's things are, we have a good team over there. That's something we've always talked about. And in times like this, you really kind of see all of your weaknesses, but all of your strengths as well. So trying to patch up, any holes, but the team is doing well. We're progressing. We've actually got some nice, exciting things coming ahead. So
we're excited. Yeah. We want you to tell us more about, you guys have been very busy. You've been doing all sorts of like food and wine pairings and Zoom tastings and all sorts of wonderful things. We've taken note of that. And we're excited because we actually have your wines here with us today. And one of the reasons why we wanted to have you and your wine is we feel that this happy hour thing is obviously it's a regular thing at all of our houses. But we wanted to level up a little bit and include wine that we can all taste at the same time, because we feel like if we're trying to create that greater sense of connection, we can hear you, we can see you. Now we can all taste the same things, right?
Right.
I love that idea.
So what was your recommendation for us to come? Nicole and I did curbside pickup this week, and so you recommended what for us this week?
So this week we have a fun package of the Nottingham Cellars and Vasco Urbano Sheriff, right? So it's taking our very first vintage of our Grenache Syrah Mourvèdre, our GSM blend, which you can see here. Just really fun labels. I won't go too much into the history of both of these, but our winemaker Colin Craner is a bit of a Livermore history buff. So just jumping to Nottingham, before Livermore was called Livermore, it was actually, for a very brief timestamp in history, it was called the City of Nottingham. So when building the winery, he kind of said, that's perfect. We'll take it. It's something we can work with. The Vasco Urbano label was something that allowed us to have fun with other varietals, but particularly the labels are, there it is. So Vasco, an old early 19th century caricature artist, and all of these characters that are depicted in his book are actually real people that existed in the Livermore, air quotes, Tri-Valley, in the early 19th century. So when we're drinking the Sheriff, this was actually someone who walked the streets and hung out. So just kind of cool. I think it's a really cool history stamp on Livermore Valley and what we all love about what we do here so much. So
back to our roots.
So that's what we're doing this week.
Great, right?
So we're starting with the Vasco.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, if we start with our first one, then I want to chat a little bit about how we're cleansing our palate in between our two tastings. So give us our first one, and then we'll chat about that.
All right, so the first wine we're having today is the 2012 Vasco Urbano. This is the original Sheriff. It is the very first vintage of this wine, which is just something that we're excited to offer, right? So in the package and the deal this week, you get the very first vintage, and then you get the very first vintage of the new label, right? So
I love this label. So creative and fun.
Yeah.
That one is we really like. We're sad to see it go. But if anything, we say the sheriff got a promotion, got him a new black suit. Now he works for the Men in Black.
There you go.
So that's the only difference. It's the
There's
same.
no shortage of creativity with you guys. There really isn't. And I think that's one of the reasons why we keep wanting to come back and talk to you and to Colin, because you guys are great winemakers. You love the history and you've got the creativity, all of the things. You're triple threat.
So what is this? So what is this blend?
So it's GSM, right? So Grenache, Syrah, Mourvedre. So this is a blend that is originated from the Rhone region of France, which is just under Burgundy. It's our new world take on an old world classic. So the Rhone varietals are something that have grown here for over 80, 100 years in some cases, particularly in the Contra Costa County, so right over the hill here. And, when we start talking about history and timestamps, using varietals that have, that are older than us combined in some cases, it's just, it kind of speaks to, I think it just kind of further drives home the point of like, this is California wine. This is the things we can do here. And it's just fun to do a little something different too. They play a little differently than Cabernet Sauvignon, kind of these Chardonnay and these varietals that we're all familiar with and accustomed with. So sorry about the action here.
I love it. Got a little wagon going on.
We were watching wrestling last night, WWF Raw. It's a thing. So it's just a fun. We have fun with it, and that is the point, right? So similar to, we always compare ourselves. We always talk about range life, right? Range life is very approachable. But when you're there and you're eating food or you're drinking, everything that is in front of you is taken very seriously, but it's a very approachable. Anyone can go to range life, right? So when we're talking about wine is something that we're always trying to drive. How can we make wine more approachable so that anyone can enjoy it? And that's kind of that's kind of our goal here. Make wine approachable so we can all drink it more.
Okay, we're going to try it.
Okay.
Yeah, let's dive in.
Yeah, tell us. Yeah. Give us the...
I mean, so similar programs in both of these wines, and we'll obviously jump to the second wine shortly. But it shows you what age can do on a wine. So it's just the primary fruit. So that big, the blackberries and the red berry, all the berries and all the stuff that jumps out of the glass immediately in the second wine we'll taste will kind of settle out, and you'll get just more interesting things. You might get I don't know when the last time you ladies got your tires rotated at America's Tire, but you get like rubber and charcoal and smoke and spice. And you just get so much more than just fruit. I think in California, we're spoiled with fruit. It's just nice to see it kind of settle up and see what wines can do sometimes. That's all.
Yeah. It's delicious. It's really smooth.
And it's still drinking pretty well for a wine that's 8 years old, right?
Oh, yes.
So I'm curious. And it'll make even more sense when you drink the next one.
Okay.
Wine is always easier to enjoy when you're tasting things next to each other.
Yeah.
It just gives you something to compare to.
I'm always a fan of double fisting it.
Well, part of today's fun was that we wanted to put together a little charcuterie board with stuff that we had in our kitchen. So I kind of challenged Nicole and Jeremy. Jeremy did pretty well there.
Yeah, let's hear Jeremy.
What he had in his kitchen.
That's beautiful.
So I woke up early and I built this board hours ago. Because I didn't.
Sorry, didn't just stress you out about it.
I didn't want to rush it, and I was like, look, Robyn got Charming Fig. I know that's going to look dope. And then, so I just wanted to make sure.
She cheated. This was supposed to be a friendly competition.
I had to cheat.
Let's be real about the rules here before we have to see mine. Yes.
Is that a honey?
Listen, when Instacart is that gnarly to get an order from, you have to cheat. So let me just tell you, Charming Fig is this is a cheese box, and it comes with some berries, obviously different cheeses, nuts, and some honey, and it's just kind of like thank you, look at you, anything you'd want to snack on. But they also are pushing like date night boxes, and they'll get creative if you have an event. So I just thought this is perfect opportunity for me to go get a box from them. They do free delivery in Livermore and Pleasanton, and you guys should definitely check it out. It'd be a fun addition to a Zoom night, kind of spice things up if you're having a glass of wine or something. And I know this will be, she said, oh, it'll last you 2 days. I'm like, not in this house. This will be gone in about an hour.
That's dinner.
So
that's dinner.
I've like been shielding it all day. So I definitely recommend you guys checking it out. And right now the boxes are, I feel like I'm an infomercial, but I got very excited about this too. There's a, let me move it up here. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's so
there you go. We got, you got hand sanitizer?
So if you order a box, it comes with this homemade hand sanitizer, and it's a business out of the Central Valley. And if you order a box, you can get one of these. But if you don't want a box and you're not into necessarily you don't need a full thing of food, Fortune Emporium is carrying these. So you can message Nadia at Fortune Emporium. So, and it comes also, I think this is another, well, I know it's another option. I don't think it comes with the box, but there's also a wellness shot, an elixir wellness shot. So I thought that was perfect timing for what was going on right now, and I really wanted to share, so I'm sorry I cheated. But hey, I got some hand sanitizer for you, Nicole. I'll bring it by.
Thank you. Your cheat came with some great add-ons. So I mean, those are some fantastic tips. I know that you all can't wait to see my concoction over here. Again, we're trying to do our best here. So
that's what I'm talking about.
Super fancy.
Is that
our Gallo salami?
Oh, salami.
from the grocery store. These are all grocery store things. This is look at that cut right there.
That's a good slice.
It's a
little hunk of cheddar.
It's a rustic cut.
It's a rustic cut. That's good. I like that.
Technical term.
And my fancy wheat thins.
Whatever
works.
Whatever works.
It's what we had.
Yeah, pair that with the quarantini and you're good.
That's right.
Exactly.
So moving on to the second wine though, then, so now that we get to cleanse our palates with our snacks,
right?
What should we expect from this guy, our black suit?
So I know, right? Our men in black, men and ladies in black, by the way.
Yeah, there you go.
So, I mean, it's just the fresher version, right? So 2012, Colin was still very young and new into the winemaking. So there's definitely some technical skills that have, he's gotten better at winemaking, but otherwise it should feel like a similar wine, just 8 years newer. So this is what this wine tasted like in 2012 when it was brand new, right? The current release, big fruit, very jammy. And it's particularly great for the setup that we have today in the kind of charcuterie board. We always say if your wine can stand up to the complexity of a charcuterie board, you're on the right track.
My rustic cheese here.
Yeah, because that's complex right there.
That rustic cut cheese.
That's complex.
It's very, so it's the more modern take on a classic. As simple as that, right?
Okay.
So,
try it.
I'm a fan already.
Yeah.
There's not going to be much left of this bottle tonight.
Oh yeah.
It's a little too easy to drink.
Yeah.
A little too easy. It is what it is. So
it really is.
So I wanted to bring up a point which I thought was funny in the realm of Charming Fig made me think of it. In this COVID era, one of the things that I've had the most fun with is just like this barter system that has kind of come back to life. So obviously we're a winery. That's what we can supply on top of whatever else it is. But like we've had like members and friends come in and they're like, yo, I've got a friend particularly who he works for Del Monte. And he's like, yo, I've got some salami. I don't know if you're interested. Like here's 2 bottles of rosé for some salami.
There you go.
So like we'll throw in some toilet paper. So just this whole barter system is something that I'm just having fun with.
Yeah.
I think it feels good when there's so much that, and we try to limit the news and things at our house, and we try to be informed. We definitely want to be informed here, but we're also trying to keep things in perspective, especially having kids around the house. And it's been really refreshing to see this bartering, to see this helping. In the Love Livermore group, we've seen people say, you know, it's going to be Easter and all I have are brown eggs. Does anyone have, you know, white eggs? I'll trade you for these lettuces that I'm growing. And then we have the Sutton family who has been all over the news, and they have literally a farmer's market stand in front of their house, right, Robyn?
They have a farmer's market stand, and what was so genius about that was they invited other community members to add to it. So if you felt like you maybe admitted you were a hoarder of toilet paper and had too much and you wanted to drop some off at the stand, you can. So I actually dropped off just some tanks and t-shirts, Love Livermore swag for whomever. And there were 2 other people ahead of me dropping off and adding to the stand. So it was such a feel-good moment. I wanted to go to the store and get more and add to it, because it was really touching that the community was willing to bulk up the options for people that don't have them, so or needing something extra. So it was pretty nice.
And I mean, to speak to the happy hour theme, I think what it's showing is that connection. Really, I mean, the connection is the foundation of currency, and like that's what's most important when all things fail. I mean, we opened up with, you know, wearing masks and whatnot, you know, and there are a lot of people out there that are really suffering right now. So like, by no means are we poking fun at that. But what I love is that people are trying to approach this with fun. Like it's very easy to wake up with a frown right now because we're all hurting, but it's much more refreshing to wake up with a smile. So we've been having fun with our community. This has been, you know, from Zooming to bartering to whatever it is. I'm excited for some of these things to stick.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about what's happening on, I know you have something exciting that you're doing on Instagram on Thursdays, and then you guys also have something you're doing it on Sunday, right? So
Sunday,
fill us in. Yeah.
So we're having fun with new content, right? So if the only way that we can really reach people right now is digitally, that's where we need to be. So Thursdays, I've started cooking in the kitchen, in my kitchen. Which is something I enjoy doing.
You made mac and cheese, and I missed this, so I need that recipe.
I am happy to share it with you.
Okay, good.
So cooking is the foundation of why I love hospitality. It's what I grew up with, and that's a story for another Zoom. So I'm happy to be able to really kind of connect the two, right? And if it still feels weird being being compensated for cooking in my kitchen, but I think it's a really fun way to engage with people. And I think that's what this is showing us right now is like, there are new ways, there are better ways, there are ways to connect with people that you haven't thought of before. So that's what's happening on Thursdays in the realm of 5 to 6. We're still playing with the best time. And then Sundays are kind of the main event where we sit down with the winemakers and the team and the crew. And we're usually getting Zooms, we're getting a room about 50 people, and we're talking about not only the wines, but similar to just the happy hour theme, it's just let's get together and it's our tasting room. If we can't have you on the weekends, there are so many members and regulars that would every weekend, right? Or I'm Fridays, or join us on Sunday. Let's catch up because we are social creatures, and at the end of the day, adults need their Chuck E. Cheese too. So
they do. So if someone is planning to join you guys on Sunday, are you we have obviously your shelter in place pick of the week, your special, which is the double sheriff.
Yep.
Does that change like every week going forward? And should people like head to you guys, and how do they pick it up before if they want to have that extra connective experience like we're having, where we're actually tasting your specific wines?
And are you guys doing a shelter in place special? Is that going to change up as well each week, each few weeks? I'm interested on that too, because I'm loving this one so much.
Right.
I got to know about the next one.
Are we 5 weeks in, ladies?
Yeah.
Are we 5 weeks in?
We are. It's been.
So 5 weeks in, we're catching our stride, right? So we've had 4 weeks prior to kind of fail at some things, grow at some things.
We feel you on that. We get it.
Right, like it is what it is. Everyone's dealing with. But what's nice is everyone's dealing with it. So people have been more forgiving. But with that said, if this is where if we're all in the business, right? So how can we get better? So we're working on building a more consistent content calendar. So weekly deals We have specials that exist on our website that just exist there and they will remain there. And then we have like weekly focuses, right? So this week we have a 2-pack. 2 seems to be the magic number. 2 wines is reasonable. And it's honestly, we like the focus. 2 wines, we get to talk about 2 wines for a whole week, for a whole 7 days. So next week we're gonna have our Sauvignon Blanc and our Micro Lot 2017 Cabernet Sauvignon for $55. So the specials weekly will range from $55 to $65. We have some wonderful specials on shipping right now, curbside pickup. And then just like all right, so you bought the wine, how else can we engage with you, right? So Mondays, Mondays, whatever they are, Technical Tuesday with the winemakers. Wednesdays are days for just catching up. Thursdays with Jeremy in the kitchen. Fridays, blah, blah, blah. So all leading up to the main event, right? So we're all getting better, but we're coming up with a fun weekly content calendar. We have plenty of specials, but you can expect a 2-pack special in the range of $55 to $65 every single week. For as long as this lasts, but probably even longer than that.
Well, I think it's a fun way to engage people that aren't members too, that just are home and want to maybe start trying some of your wines and aren't ready to commit to a membership. But I think it's really smart. I mean,
and I got a question for you. I got a question for you, ladies. So we've been confronted with our digital sorrows and where we need to grow. But how are you adapting digitally? To connect.
Well, you're looking at it.
Yeah. we are definitely, I mean, obviously by day we are realtors. So we can't be showing properties in occupied homes any longer. We can show property in vacant homes. There's
a lot of regulations on for buyers, but also for sellers and all the people that go into purchasing or selling a home, inspectors and photographers and all those things. But for Love Livermore, go ahead, Nicole.
I was just gonna say what I'm excited about with that, and to your point, Jeremy, and trying to like be better at what you already do, or ebb and flow with your own personal growth. I'm really actually proud of Robyn and I, only in the fact that we were already digital to begin with, and we had such a great community, online that we're very fortunate with, but we did a lot online already with digital marketing. So that's making the transition for us more palpable. So, being able to utilize digital photography and video and all the things that we kind of love doing already, it just kind of works right in. So it's been fun, and it's been also a challenge though, like I'm sure Robyn was going to say with Love Livermore, just trying, we can't be out there interviewing and being face to face. We miss being in businesses, and so just trying to support businesses and talk to locals and find out how they're pivoting and adapting their business is really fun for us too, right?
And I feel a certain responsibility to maintain that during the shelter in place for our downtown and for our other businesses. So sure, it's not ideal, but you know what? A Zoom, a video platform gets it done. Pushing different businesses that are trying to stay afloat and highlighting how they're pivoting is important. So we're hoping that we'll see the light at the end of the tunnel pretty soon. But until then, we're totally flexible, and because you're right, everyone has to be at this point.
Yeah.
And at that point, so for those who are familiar with Nottingham and us and the team, I'd say the sector that has taken the biggest, well, one of the bigger hits, at least personally, is the podcast has more or less really kind of just taken a standstill.
Yeah.
Because that podcast is built on interpersonal communication. We could do different formats, but we're at our best when we're sitting next to folks, and it's as simple as that. So taking the hit and not sacrificing the quality that we are aiming for. It sucks, but we would rather pause it, start clean, focus elsewhere, grow elsewhere, and come back to it. So, So for those who are following Love Livermore and maybe recognize us and me in Nottingham, we apologize that the podcast has taken an absolute, we're doing our best, trying to survive. It's not going anywhere because much like these ladies, we absolutely love this community. And we love drinking next to them. like next to them.
Yeah.
You know? So it is what it is, but we're doing our best.
Well, thank you for joining us. This was perfect. We got to break down the special last week. I'm excited to see what hits the shelves in the coming weeks. We'll definitely be back, and keep us posted on how things are going with the podcast or any big changes we want to stay.
Yeah, just remind us really quick. So on Thursdays, somewhere around that 5-6-ish range. So it's at Nottingham on your Instagram. Yes?
Ma'am. So yeah, just running through it real quick. So I mean, in terms of the content days that we have, Technical Tuesdays on Instagram. Instagram is just generally our best platform right now. It's kind of what we're aiming for. And we feed everything down to Facebook. But Tuesdays, Technical Tuesdays, doing something. Thursdays, in the kitchen, cooking food. Come on. Cooking food, good food, healthy food. And then Sundays are kind of the main events, sitting down with the whole team, the winemakers, and talking about the specials. So those are the 3 events you can count on. And then we're just trickling in fun stuff in between.
That's awesome. Thank you for doing that. Thank you guys for adapting so quickly and being able to connect with us and find different ways to connect with us near and far.
Yeah. All right.
That's
and I apologize for wearing a hat. I normally wouldn't do it. It's rude. My grandmother would slap me in the mouth, but the barbershops are closed. And yeah.
Hey, anything goes at this point, right?
So, right. I'm literally wearing Christmas pajamas underneath.
Oh, I wanted to see your outfit. Let's see your outfit. No, he's all no. It looks
the quality of the picture.
Your outfit's good.
Too grainy. All right. Well, thanks, Jeremy. We appreciate your time so much. That was so fun.
All right. We'll see you soon. We appreciate what you're doing, ladies. Keep it up, please.
All right. We will. Thank you. And thank you to Nottingham. Thank you to Charming Fig. And just a reminder to you guys, we know that, the spaces in your home are becoming a little more challenging. Would you agree to that?
I would agree.
So some of us are homeschooling and working from home and trying to find a home gym and trying to make our master bedroom a retreat of serenity and escape. Right? And so we want to invite you guys to our Love These 5 Spaces in Your Home and More webinar. So next Thursday at 1 p.m. we've got a fabulous webinar. We've got our MacGyver of home design with us, our Lauren Fuller, she's our home stager. She's an interior designer. She's going to give us the rundown on how to sort out, how to organize and decorate these spaces and make them more enjoyable. Help us love them more.
Yeah. I'm excited for it. I'm ready. Give me all the tips I need.
I know. Give them all. All right, you guys. I think we need one final cheers. Thank you so much.
Yeah, right. See you.
Cheers, you guys.
Cheers. All right. Well, I'm Nicole, and Robyn's drinking.
I'm Robyn, and this is Jeremy.
Bye.
And as always, we help you love where you live.
Even more.
But this is the quarantine show, so we're just trying to keep it real. Cheers.
Cheers, ladies.
Good job.